Posibleng is-cite in contempt ng Senate Impeachment Court sina dating Special Disbursing Officers Gina Acosta at Edward Fajardo kung hindi sapat ang kanilang magiging paliwanag sakaling hindi sila dumalo sa impeachment trial ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Ito ay matapos sabihin ni House Prosecution Spokesperson Attorney Benjamin Tolosa Jr. na wala pang natatanggap ang prosecution na kumpirmasyon kung sisipot sina Acosta at Fajardo sa impeachment trial. Inaasahang haharap sina Acosta at Fajardo upang magbigay linaw sa confidential funds na kanilang in-encash matapos silang padalhan ng supina ng Senate Impeachment Court. Kaugnay nito, sinabi ni House Trial Spokesperson at Lanao del Sur First District Zea Alonto Adjong, hindi tamang ilaglag na lang basta at buntunan ng sisi ang dalawang Special Disbursing Officers na sina Gina Acosta at Edward Fajardo na nag-encash ng 612.5 million confidential funds sa utos umano ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Binanggit ni Adjong na ang interjections ni Senator Judge Amy Marcos nitong August 5 kung saan iginiit ng senador na sina Acosta at Fajardo umano ang accountable officers sa encashment ng cheque ng Office of the Vice President at Department of Education or DepEd at hindi si VP Sara Duterte. Base sa naging direksyon ng pagtatanong ni Senator Amy Marcos, sinabi ni Adjong na mistulang gusto umanong ipasolo ng senador kina Acosta at Fajardo ang kasalanan sa disbursement ng confidential funds para mailigtas sa pananagutan si VP Sara Duterte. Inisa-isa ni Adjong ang mga dokumentong pirmado ni VP Sara, ang Physical and Financial Plan, Disbursement Documents, Liquidation Report at Accomplishment Report na patunay ng naging papel ng Vice Presidente sa paggamit ng pondo bilang pinuno ng OVP at DepEd.
Next week, inaasahan na pong tumestigo sila Acosta at Fajardo. Ano po yung magiging testimony nila and where is the prosecution's case headed now given that they are now called to the stand by the prosecution team? Pwede pong sa inyo.
Well, kanina minention because reminding ourselves na dapat ini-indicate ng prosecution kung sino mga witnesses next week. So among them, meron tayong continuation na Silene na nakita nyo kanina from the COA, ICFAO, and then merong tayong witness on the pareha, no, mga archives yan, kung ano yung mga dokumento na sinubmit sa House, no, pareha yan. At siguro mas simple ngayon kasi pinayagan na. Judicial notice. Hindi na kailangan i-prove na nangyari yung meeting, na ito yung transcript, na ito yung mga videos na pinakita sa meeting, etc. No? So, the Acosta and Fajardo are also subpoenaed witnesses. Acosta, as you know, is the head, is the SDO, no? Senior Disbursement Officer, is of the OVP. And si Fajardo is the SDO of the DepEd, no? And not to preempt, sila po ay ang ipipresenta, no? Because nakita naman natin sa mga land bank checks na pinakita ni Kong Joel Chua, sino yung mga accountable officers dyan, ano? At sila ang payee. Sila ang payee na tumanggap ng pera, no? Kanya, sinabi nga, as you notice sa questions ni Senator Amy, pinapakita niya, pinasabi niya, bakit bakit si Vice President? Si Vice President ang sinasabi niyo na accountable officer, malinaw sa circular na sinight niyo na ang SDO ng OVP ay si Acosta, yung isa naman, SDO ng DepEd. Sila dapat ang accountable, no? So, yun ang i-clarify natin next week. At may dadagdag pa ata si Kong Joel.
Well, dadagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Attorney Kapunan. Maganda yung kaninang tinanong ni Senator Risa Hontiveros. Based doon sa accounting rules, sino yung mga considered as accountable officer? At sinagot naman ng ating testigo kanina na yung head of agency, which in this case, sa OBP, ang Vice President, at doon sa DepEd, ang Secretary of Education. Now, Ang karagdagan pa po na masasabi natin dyan, kung maalala ninyo, mga ipinresenta na mga proof ng liquidation report, so forth and so on. Ang mga nakapirma po doon ay mismo yung head of agency at ginagarantiya niya na ang pondo ay maayos na ginamit. So, kaya hindi po pwedeng sabihin na wala po siyang accountability pagdating po dito sa confidential fund.
Alam mo, Kenneth, ang kasagutan sana doon sa katanungan ni Senator Amy Marcos ay yung naging testimonya ng dalawang land bank managers kung babalikan niya yung testimonya nila. Kasi 2 days prior to the encashment of the 104 checks for the OVP in the last quarter of 2022, which covers December 21 to March 31, ay tinawagan na ang Land Bank Shaw Boulevard. Tinawagan na yung tumawag doon sa Land Bank Manager ay authorized na siya yung nagsasalita on behalf of the Vice President to inform them that Miss Gina Acosta will be encashing this amount, these checks amounting to 35 million each check, 4 checks for 125 million pesos. So doon mismo, that conversation alone proves and put the Vice President in the middle of the transaction because she was actually the one calling the shot. Siya ang nagsabi doon sa alam nung land bank manager na yon na representative ng Vice President stating the name Miss Gina Acosta as the payee. Kasi nga mabilisan Dapat express lane Andun na yung pangalan, 2 days kasi walang ganong kalaking pera ang Land Bank Shaw. So they had to request from the National sa Central Office nila na magkaroon ng ganong klaseng buong pera. So doon yung kasagutan na yon. No? Unfair naman kung hahabulin lang ng COA si Gina Acosta at saka si Mr. Fajarda na sila lang naman yung inutusan. At saka nandoon naman sa physical and financial plan, sa disbursement vouchers, sa accomplishment report, sa utilization report, during that cross-examination ng ating pinaka-masterclass na mga test ng kanyang pag-cross sa witness natin ngayon, nakapirma doon ay ang Vice President stating that she is in control at she is actually the one in charge of these funds. So unfair kung si Ms. Acosta at saka si Mr. Fajarda ang hahabulin ng COA. Kung yun man yung minimin ng ating butihing senadora.
And for my follow-up question po, para po kay Kong Zia, pero anyone from the panel could answer po. Sir, how big of a factor is sustaining public attention when it comes to the prosecution's case? How big of a factor is public attention in the prosecution's case?
Well, unang-una, malaking bagay po talaga dahil with the advent of SOCMED, nakikita naman natin ngayon puro fake news at saka syempre itong pinag-uusapan dito, pondo po ng taong bayan. So dapat lamang na alam nila kung saan napupunta yung kanilang mga binabayad na buwis. Pangalawa, malaking bagay din na nagbabantay sila at nagmamatsyag dahil at the end of the day, alam naman po natin na yung mga fake news ay naglipa na ngayon. Ngayon, kung ito po ay mananatiling maglilipa na at hindi po tayo aware kung ano ang totoong nangyayari dito po sa hearing, baka mabudol po tayo. At hindi po natin talaga malaman kung ano talaga at kung saan napunta ang pondo.
Tsaka hindi naman po ito ginagawa ng prosecution dahil gusto nilang gawin Ginagawa po ito ng prosecution dahil ito ang tamang gawin. Kasi ito yung sinasabi po sa batas at ito po yung sinasabi sa Constitution at para po sa kapakanan ng taong bayan, ng interest ng taong bayan dahil ang may pag-aari ng bawat opisina na halal na opisina ay pag-aari ng taong bayan. So ang nagkaroon ng betrayal of public trust is actually connected with betraying the trust that was given to her and the trust that was expected of her to deliver to the people by occupying the second highest official office in the land. So para po sa kanila, itong interest ng taong bayan ang ginagawa po ng prosecution.
Idadagdag ko lang kasi ang gustong sabihin ng defense confidential yan, confidential funds, kanya kailangan confidential rin ang information kung saan ginastos yan. Ay mali po 'yun. Ang ibig sabihin ng confidential funds hindi ka na accountable, no? At sinasabi nga nila grant yan ng president, no? This was granted by the President to the Office of the Vice President. At ang hindi naman ibig sabihin na porke nasa grant yan, ano, nasa budget yan, or nasa, hindi na mag-account. All the more na mag-account ka. Kasi talagang by that nature, alam mo na hindi naman pera mo yan, na galing yan sa budget, mag-account ka. So, it is wrong to say, confidential, and therefore, hindi na kailangan malaman ng publiko kung saan ginamit ang funds na to. That is wrong.
Okay po. And follow-up lang po. Would such procedural snags as what happened earlier be detrimental when it comes to sustaining public attention? And how could it affect the prosecution's case if this trend continues po? Yung mga, for instance, stipulations na hindi tinatanggap ng defense. Thank you.
Well, hindi pwedeng iwasan yung mga number of documents, no. That's why nung tinanong ako sa end of the trial yesterday, no. Kasi parang nawawala na ng interest ng mga tao, puro documents, puro stipulation, at nawawala na yung totoong storya. Kanya nung tinanong sa akin, well, I gave my opinion. Bakit importante ang mga documents na to, lalo na yung mga documents na in-evaluate at in-study ng COA, at ang COA ang nagsabing, ay hindi pwede yan kasi irregular yan, no? Hindi lang masabi ng COA na, kasi sa batas, irregular, sa guidelines, irregular, extravagant. Punta na naman tayo sa irregular. Ano ba yung irregular? Ano ba yung extravagant? Ano ba yung, sabi ko nga, bongga ka day eh. Ano yung unconscionable? Wag na nating isipin yan. Sabihin na lang natin para maintindihan nyo yung ginawa ng Office of the Vice President at ng DepEd. Yung kumuha ng pera na hindi naman kanila, na public funds yan at hindi naman ginamit para sa confident activities, na confidential in nature, ay sa aking palagay, scam. Scam talaga yan. Ngayon, kung hindi pa natin maintindihan ang scam, intindihan niyo na lang kung may binigyan ka ng pera at sinabi mo, bumili ka ng ganito, hindi naman binili yung gusto mong pinabili, di ba? Di na-scam ka. Magkano yung scam na yan? 612.5 million ang kinuha pera sa taong bayan. Yon. So, to your question, sir, no? Sabi mo, parang nabobore na kami, parang hindi na interested, ang dami-dami ng stipulation, ang daming judicial notice dyan, ang daming argument sa mga lawyers. Ganun talaga yun kasi dapat talaga malinaw ang evidence at convincing. Kasi hindi lang naman pang entertainment ito. Sabi nga nila, hindi naman pang pamilya to, pang sports, Hindi lang pang sports to, pang pamilya din. Pamilya, para sa pamilya talaga natin ito. Hindi ba? Hindi lang para ma-entertain tayo. The impeachment case is not a substitute for Netflix. Ha? Hindi ito pang entertainment. Ito ay para sa atin.
All right. Joseph?
Joseph, can I address my questions to Attorney Kapunan? And this is in relation to the judicial notices, no? I'm trying to wrap my head around what this transpired kanina. So first, what was the intention of the prosecution when you wanted the court sana to take judicial notices of the hearings in the Quadcom and the House of Representatives? COJ.
In terms of legal procedure, judicial kasi nakalagay sa rules of court na, and the rules of court are applicable to the Senate impeachment proceedings ang judicial notice, ang ibig sabihin nun, wag mo nang i-prove. And this is where Kong Joel said earlier, it will just show na there were committee hearings conducted, that these committee hearings were recorded, na merong mga transcripts, na merong pinakita doon sa hearings na yan, ng mga dokumento, at nag-take note naman. May notes dyan on the committee. That's all it takes. But it does not mean na, sabi nga ng defense, that it will substitute, hindi na kailangan daw. Parang in-imply ng defense na it is an indirect way of the prosecution to dispense with having to prove their case, no, through judicial notice. Hindi po yun ang purpose, no. The purpose really is to shorten the proceedings. Kasi nangyari naman yun Hindi naman nila madi-deny na nangyari yung hearings. At saka ilang hearings, for how many hearings that is, no? Ano yung mga tinalakay doon? I'll turn over to Congressman Joel.
Well, kagaya nga po nung sinabi ni Attorney Kapunan, ang purpose talaga nung kaya kami nag-file ng judicial notice is para may mga bagay na hindi na kailangan ipatunayan na itong insidenteng to, na itong hearing na to, nangyari ito. Ang purpose talaga nun is to shorten the hearing dito sa impeachment. So, kagaya ng ng marking of evidence, 'di ba? Talagang boring dahil isipin mo na naman kung lahat 'yan mamarkahan mo 4,000 dokumento. Kaya nga sinasabi ng impeachment court kanina, if we could set a schedule na hindi tatama doon sa hearing, nang sa ganon ay hindi mabore yung mga publiko at saka yung mga senator judges.
Just to continue, so in the proceedings in the HOR, COJ, and the Quadcom, there are certain evidence, no, quote-unquote evidence that came out, which form part of your articles of impeachment, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So now, when the court takes judicial notice of a hearing and its accompanying sets of evidence, what happens to the value of the evidence that goes with admitting judicial noticing na may nga din ng hearing? What happens to the value?
For instance, your particular question on evidence.
Okay.
Okay, if we take judicial notice of the transcripts of what happened in that hearing, let's say it happened on a certain hearing date, and on that hearing date may dumating na testigo. Yung testigo nagdala ng dokumento. Now, what does judicial notice do? Judicial notice will dispense with, number one, hindi mo na kailangan patunayan na nagkaroon ng hearing. Yun. Hindi mo na kailangan patunayan na sa hearing na yun, yung secretary, kumuha ng minutes kung anong nangyari doon, transcripts. That's judicial notice. At sa hearing na yun, ay may dumating na testigo, kunyari, COA. At ang COA witness na yun ay nagdala ng mga dokumento. Yun. What is judicial notice? Judicial notice will just say that in that hearing, there was a witness that appeared. Hindi naman sinasabi na hindi na kailangan mag-testify dito sa Senado yung witness na dumating doon. Hindi naman effect ng judicial notice na hindi na ipapakita yung mga documents na dinala ng witnesses na yon sa impeachment court. Ang ibig sabihin lang ng judicial notice is the fact na, may dumating na witness, may dinalang dokumento. Yun lang. Ngayon, will you have to present the witness again? Yes. Will you have to present the documents again? Yes, because it is not an admission that ang sinabi ng witness doon ay totoo or hindi. It is not an admission na documents na nagkaroon ng graft and corruption ang presidente, or it is not an admission na nagkaroon ng grave threats. It is just an admission, or it is just a stipulation na may nangyaring ganon na meeting, present itong mga witnesses at itong mga dokumento. But present the witnesses here in the Senate. Present the documents here in the Senate. Hindi mo na kailangan i-prove. O ito, ang mga transcripts, 10 million pages ang isang meeting. They will still go over it. Kung hindi, kasi kanya-kanyang ginawa namin kanina sa stipulation ng mga acknowledgement receipts. Kung hindi, because hindi nag-stipulate, isa-isa tinignan ng witness. Ito yung acknowledgement receipts na yan. Ganyan din kung walang judicial notice sa mga transcripts ng House hearings ng congressman natin. Isa-isa nila pupuntahan yung mga pages ng hearing na yan.
Just to paraphrase your explanation, yung pong taking judicial notice does not grant a particular evidence automatic admissibility that the senator judges will have to weigh and consider in their decision, no?
Ganito lang po yan. Ang ibig sabihin ng judicial notice, that incident happened. But as to the substance, we still need to prove it. Yun lang.
So in that case, why would the defense would be a little bit iffy in the court taking judicial notice of?
Well, that is one way of prolonging the case. Di ba? So, siyempre, gusto nila lahat patunayan ninyo.
Or
Diba?
maybe, idadagdag ko lang, maybe just because they do not want or keep on insisting that the hearings is a mini trial. That's how they define it. And maybe to prove that they do not recognize the hearings according to their own interpretation, gusto din nila the court will treat the hearings as if it never happened by not recognizing that such hearing and such discussion took place. So, ganun lang yun.
And anyway, just for the record, we now receive a copy of the official statement of the Honorable Supreme Court with respect to the case or cases filed by the Vice President with respect to the filing of the complaint with respect doon sa committee hearing sa Committee on Justice. Now, binasura na po ito ng Korte Suprema at sinasabi ng Korte Suprema na moot and academic na dahil yung kaso ay nandirito na sa Senado. Tapos na yung proseso kung saan yung House ay ito ay didinggin. So ngayon, ang usapin ay nandirito na sa Senado. Kaya wala nang issue sa jurisdiction.
Ma'am Milky?
Magandang hapon po. Milky Rigonaf, DCRH. 3 araw po yung impeachment trial regarding confidential funds. And based on the analysis review, it's Attorney Lorna Capunan's masterclass. Reaction, please. It's Attorney Lorna Capunan's masterclass based on the mga reaction and feedback.
No, thank you for being kind. Hindi naman masterclass yan. Ang feeling ko lang, after several years, kasi I'm probably double, lalong-lalo na yung lawyer kanina, no? I'm probably old enough to be her grandmother. Di ba? So, sana gusto ko nga pagbigyan. Kasi, syempre, first time niya mag-appear. Kanya yung inargue niya na hindi sila nag-file down ng pleading para sa ng comment dito sa judicial notice, pero mag-a-argue na lang sila. Ang gina-argue naman, binasa naman yung pleading, sana final na lang niya, no? But I understand that. For instance, pag ganyan, alam mo na kung matagal ka na sa practice, walang nakikinig sa ganyan. And as you can see, it would have been better for her to have just filed the pleading. In any event, it is not a master class. It's just that sanay na tayo eh. It is experience. But again, I will always say, even with 48 years of experience, there is no substitute for preparation. Kung makita nyo lang kung gaano mag-prepare ang public tsaka private prosecutors, buti na lang, binibigyan kami ng pagkain, breakfast, noon, and night, no? Kasi kami naman, volunteer. That is actual preparation. Si Kong Joel nga, kasama niyang matulog yung rules of court niya. Ayan, gano'n yung rules of court, no? Kasama, pag tinanong mo siya ngayon, Kong Joel, ano ba yung Rule 130 on admissibility? Aba, sasabihin niya sa inyo. Kasi minemorize niya yan. That is why it comes. It comes naturally. It comes with this level of confidence. Hindi uwido to. Hindi tayo nag-uuwido. Nag-aaral tayo at ini-evaluate rin natin kung paano i-present ang evidence. Lalong-lalo na voluminous documents. My own standard is myself. I am the judge of myself. If I am there in the audience and I am bored, that means I'm not doing it right. I am my own judge. Kunyari, kung ganitong argument, kung mabobore ako. So that is my guideline. At saka pag nakita ko itong mga katabi ko na nagsi-cellphone na ganyan. Pag makita mo yung mga senator judges na kunyari nakikinig na ganyan pero nagsi-cellphone na ganyan, ay change gear ka na. Mag-corrective ka na, mag-corrective measures ka na. That means you're not interesting, you're not communicating, or it is too long. As I said when I made my first manifestation, I said, know two things. Know when to present and not to present. Paikliin ang presentation and know when to stop. Yon, some of us don't know when to stop. And I will not name these senator judges.
Sir, sa side ng prosecution, assessment po kay Attorney Lorna Capunan, Kong Zia and Kong Joel. Maraming salamat po.
Ako, I'm very fortunate to have worked with legal luminaries like Attorney Capunan. Dati pinanonood ko lang to sa TV nung naka-short pants ako, Lorna Capunan na to eh. Diba? So,
Excuse me, bumusi na kayo. Ilang taong ka nun?
ibig sabihin, siyempre marami kang matututunan. So, kaya naman ganun din yung mga nagiging performance namin is because din sa kanila. They're giving us tips. Yun nga, sabi ko nga, iilan na lang ngayon talagang mga sikat na abogado eh. So, swerte ako na nakasama ko ang isang Lorna Capunan. Tsaka nakita niyo naman, di ba? Siya lang ang nakakagawa ng mga pinagagawa niya doon. Wala may kayang gumawa sa amin noon.
Well, inspiration naman talaga si Tita Lorna. Tama nga, sorry Tita Lorna, talagang pinapanood kita nung dati na Tapos having you here, seated beside Attorney Lorna Capunan is in itself an honor, no? She's an inspiration. But beyond that, I think the public's reception doon sa pag-present ni Attorney Capunan reflects hindi lang yung trabaho niya, but her commitment to deliver and to pursue what is good for the country. Kasi maski gaano ka kagaling na abogado, but if you don't really believe in what you do, hindi yon automatically maiintindihan at ma-identify ng taong bayan sa'yo. Secondly, yung pinaglalaban ni kanina, sinabi ko, hindi nila, ang prosecution, hindi naman talaga ito nila gusto. Pero alam nila ito ang tamang gawin. So, yung sinasabi nilang masterclass, tama naman, masterclass, humble lang si Tita Lorna, ayaw lang niya i-admit. Pero, nangangahulugan talaga nito na yung na-identify ng taong bayan kung ano yung pinaglalaban ng prosecution ay ito yung katotohanan. That's the most important message coming from the public's reception kasi I mean yung trabaho na ginagawa in the way Attorney Kapunan and presented the witnesses reflects not only her skills and her experience in law profession but her commitment for the cause of public good, her commitment to really promote accountability and transparency. And it's just been known for the longest time doon sa ganong klaseng advocacy. That's why she is an inspiration to many of us. At pangalawa, I think the public wants to continuously give in to her temptations. Yan po ang gusto ng publiko.
Sandali no, this is beginning to sound like a eulogy. Buhay pa ho ako. Buhay pa. So, and in any event, the good thing about presenting it the good thing about presenting it in a manner or studying how to present it in a manner is you engage the public. Alam mo, katakot-takot, nag-detect sa akin na nagsasabing, Attorney, sabihin nyo nga na itong kasamang pangalan na ito, Gina Hasa. Oh, kasama tong pangalan na ito. Ano pang mga, Maluwang. Di ba? Ang daming mga nagvo-volunteer. What does it mean? That means that they're listening. That means that naiintindihan nila na lokohan ito. Na one day, meron pa kaming bukas, sasabihin ko sa'yo, meron pa kaming listahan, parang fruit salad. Kasi ang mga pangalan, may keso, may mangga, may ganyan. Parang yung nag-isip ng pangalan, nakaupo sa table niya ng lunchtime, ang pagkain niya ay fruit salad. So, nung sinabi siya, nako, may 15-day deadline kami para mag-submit ng mga, kasi 15-day deadline ang binigay ng COA. Meron kaming 15-day deadline na mag-submit ng mga dokumento, acknowledgement receipts. Teka nga, okay. Aba, masarap itong mangga, o masarap itong keso. Aba, so may pangalang keso ang apelyido. Meron ding mangga. Ay, meron, kanya, pag nakita nyo, isang set ng parang pang fruit salad. Yung piatos naman, siguro dumaan ng mall, siningit niya. Siningit niya yung, imbis na nasa opisina, nanood ng sine, bumili ng Mary Grace piatos para ibaon sa sinehan. Hinahanap siya ngayon ng opisina niya, mag-produce siya ng listahan. Anong ginawa niya? Mary Grace piatos. Ay, kulang pa. Mary Grace piatos. Tapos, 3 piatos ata yun eh. Di ba? Yun. No, I'm just dramatizing that this is the way the public, ganito ang iniisip ng publiko. And that's why it means na effective ang message ng prosecution. Kung ganyan, kalokohan ng mga pangalan, wag na nating sabihing alias. Kasi sasabihin nila, mga mayayabang ang mga lawyers, sasabihin nila, it can be argued that aliases are allowed under the guidelines. Oy, teka, hindi naman alias ito. Ito ay pwedeng alias, no? But these really are fictional names. Magugulat ng mga senador pag nakita nila yung mga pangalan nila dyan. Kanya excited ako mag-present. Merong nga isang Joel Chua doon, hindi lang niya alam. Papakita rin namin yon. Parang Joel. Meron talaga Joel. Yung sa'yo, mahirap kasi spelling yung sa'yo. Sabi nila.
Ma'am, total na-mention nyo na rin po yung sa senator judge na hindi marunong huminto. meron isang senator judge, sabihin ko na si Senator Judge Amy Marcos. Kasi parang napagalitan nga yung si Attorney Wamil for arguing with Senator Amy. Kasi ini-insist ni Senator Judge Amy na yung confidential funds ay nabigay din kay VP Binay, when in fact ang sinabi po ni Attorney Wamil was in-audit lang. Hindi niya sinabing walang nabigay kay VP Binay. Tapos yung ini-insist niya rin na ni Senator Amy na hindi si VP Sara yung accountable officer kung hindi si Acosta nga saka si Fajarda. Yung ganito po bang line of questioning, does it blur yung line between cold neutrality and already lawyering for the respondent?
Ako na lang, no? Unang-una, sabi ko nga kanina, kasi this is in relation to the question earlier. I think the question of kung Senator Judge Amy, with all due respect to her, kasi mayroon naman po talaga siyang opinion at mayroon naman po siyang karapatan paano bumuo ng opinion based doon sa kanyang approach sa mga ebidensya at mga testimonya ng witnesses, being a Senator Judge. But again, yung question kasi niya kay Mr. Wamil is yung accountability of officers, since Miss Gina Acosta was the one whose name was reflected in the checks, and Mr. Fajarda, the same case on the part of DepEd, dapat without even saying it, parang ang interpretation natin is sila dapat yung accountable officers. Pero very clear naman din sa joint circular, no? It's the SDOs and the principal. Ibig sabihin kung sino yung head ng agency, the head of office, no? Pangalawa, yung sinabi ko po dun sa testimonya ng dalawang witnesses natin, yung dalawang land bank managers, they were actually called and they were told 2 days or a day prior to the encashment of these checks under the name of Mr. Fajarda and Miss Gina Acosta na sila yung ipapadala. Miss Gina Acosta on the part of the OVP and Mr. Fajarda on the part of the Department of Education. That alone indicates that they are acting based on the orders of their principal. In this case, the office of the Vice President's head is headed by the Vice President, and on the side of the Department of Education, again, also part of her portfolio as a Secretary of Department of Education. So, klaro na po yun. Actually, it was not refuted. It was not even cross-examined ng defense. So, it was established na talagang inutusan sila, no? Itong dalawang SDOs. And sabi nga ni Congressman Joel, they're actually basing their mandate on yung sinasabi ng nung in terms of auditing process, yung lahat ng pinirmahan doon sa dokumento from the physical and financial plan up to the accomplishment reports, at na-establish na yan. Hindi na na-refute na ang nakapirma doon ang Vice President acting as a Secretary of Defense, and at the same time, Secretary of Education, thank you Joseph doon sa sa reaction mo. And as an Office of the Vice President. So klaro po 'yon. So ano yung iniisip po ng ating Senator Judge Marcos? Again, we respect her position on this, kung ano po yung opinion niya regarding this. Pero I think the fact remains na ang head ng OVP ay si Vice President Sara Duterte. Ang Secretary of Education at that time ay si Vice President Sara Duterte. And no SDOs can ever assume yung responsibility and obligation of the head of the agency insofar as request of the confidential funds, how it will be implemented, and how it would be audited, how it will be supported by attachments and other documentary evidence proving that the utilization is done within the criteria and enumerated parameters of the joint circular.
Yung question ko more is of dun sa line of questioning, the manner how it was raised, and yung siguro ganito na lang sir, do you approve of the style kung saan parang halos hindi makasagot kasi she was trying to clarify matters but halos hindi makasagot si Attorney Wamil? What do you think of, what do you make out of it?
Well, lahat ng senator judges may kanya-kanyang silang strategiya, no? Nirerespeto natin yung kanilang way of appreciating the facts, no? Although mas maganda sana na as a senator judge, which basically under the rules at ine-expect po ng both panels ay maging impartial, because the way you can actually exercise your role as a judge is to have an open mind, meaning to say your questions would, the intention of these questions would reinforces or would even supply information na hindi mo masyadong na-appreciate. Kung ganun yung premise ng tanong mo, para at least malinawan ka ng maayos, yun ang actually ine-expect from an impartial judge, no? I'm not saying that we don't want any of the judges to approach this case kung paano nila gawin o paano sila magtanong. What we're saying is that sana kung halimbawang may mga katanungan sa mga witnesses, ay mas maganda na para din sa kanila, for the benefit of the sitting judges and for everyone, na matuloy yung sagot ng mga witnesses, whether ito ba ay whether ito ba ay gustong marinig o ito ba yung gustong marinig na kasagutan, no? So, yun lang po. Again, we respect the position of any senator, judge for that matter, no, on how they approach this case, no, by way of questioning our witnesses.
Sir, Congressman Chua, sir, elaboration lang on the Supreme Court ruling, no? Does it speak on the legality of the procedures in the House? Kasi yung petition talks about questions on the date of initiation, procedure, yung sa from committee to whatever. So does it speak on the legality? Ibig sabihin, does it legalize the proceedings in the House that produced the articles of impeachment that we're tackling now?
Well, ito yung important solution na salient
points, okay.
na nakalagay po dito. The Supreme Court ruled that the issues raised on the petition had become moot and academic or no longer required resolution. Teka, pasensya na, medyo hindi ko mabasa. Hindi ko na mabasa eh. Because the House had already approved and transmitted the articles of impeachment to the Senate. So, yan ang parang hindi ko na.
For the Supreme Court, diba? To say na dito na, so wag na lang. Pero, to your assessment, evaluation, does it give you the imprimatur? Does it give you the moral grounding now?
Yeah, yung mga issue na sinasabi nila, as to the jurisdiction, mini trial, so forth and so on, although hindi naman diniscuss. Kasi ito namang nakalagay dito, hindi pa natin nababasa kung ano yung talagang pinakalaman eh. Ito parang ano lang eh, maliit lang na parang announcement lang eh. 'Di ba? So, hindi naman natin masasabi kung ano talaga yung pinaka naging laman. 'Di ba? So, but as we speak, etong sinasabi nila dito, wala nang saysay na pag-usapan pa o i-discuss o talakayin pa yun dahil yung articles of impeachment wala na nga sa House, nandirito na sa Senado.
Sir, just a quick follow-up on the question of Kuya Joseph po. Gaano po ito kahalaga sa inyo? Dahil kung matatandaan naman po natin, nung unang beses na challenge ng kampo ni VP Sara yung impeachment case noong 19th Congress ay bumabor po sa kanila yung Korte Suprema. Ngayon po na may mga petition ulit na kukomestyon doon sa impeachment proceedings or impeachment complaints laban sa kanya, bumabor po sa Kamara or sa prosecution yung decision. So gaano po ito kahalaga sa inyo?
Well, napakahalaga. Dahil unang-una, at least, makakahinga na tayo na magtutuloy-tuloy na to at wala na magiging sagabal dito sa impeachment na ginagawa ngayon dito sa Senado. At least, hindi na tayo kakaba-kaba na baka mamaya bukas makalawa ay patitigilin tayo. Dahil sasabihin nila ay may Supreme Court decision at sinasabi unconstitutional. Pero ngayon, wala nang ganyan, so wala nang dahilan para pagdudahan pa natin itong nangyayari ngayon na impeachment hearing at tuloy-tuloy na yung presentation ng prosecution.
Good afternoon po. Sir, siguro mas kay Congressman Joel Chua po ito kasi ang haba po nung explanation ng defense team on why the Senate Impeachment Court should not take judicial notice of the 19th Congress House Good Government Panel inquiry on the budget use of the Office of the Vice President and the DepEd. How do you respond lang po dun sa repeated questions nila on the legality and seemingly the existence of the inquiry? Kasi ayaw nilang mag-take yung Senate Court ng judicial notice.
Well,
na nangyari nga yun.
Well, again, sinasabi nila kasi kanina na hindi daw na-cross yung mga testigo at again, yung kanilang mga sinasabing fishing expedition, mini trial, pending pa sa Supreme Court na issues. Pero nilinaw naman ng ating butihing presiding officer na number one, hindi naman ibig sabihin nun ay tinatanggap na yung laman. Ang sinasabi lang ng ating presiding officer as to the existence ng video, yun lang yung patutunayan, number one. At number two, ang isa pa sa sinasabi ng ating presiding officer, yung regularity na perform. So, yun lang. But as to the substance of the hearing, hindi pa. Dahil, yun nga, subject pa sa presentation at saka cross-subject to cross-examination.
Sir, follow up. So you don't take offense, sir, na parang ayaw nilang i-recognize yung inquiry na nangyari? And the findings also?
No, hindi naman. Dahil yun naman, karapatan din naman nila. So, talaga namang kami naman, siyempre gusto lamang namin para mapabilis, 'di ba? Yung proseso para hindi na step by step total talaga naman nangyari. But at the end of the day, sabi naman ng ating presiding officer, tatanggapin yung ebidensya but only as to the existence ng video, number one, at saka yung presumption ng regularity.
Dagdag lang, we take exception to the remarks of the defense labeling and describing the COJ hearing in the House of Representatives as mini trial. No? We take exception to that because number one, alam naman po natin from the very start that the committee confirmation hearing of the Committee on Justice is actually a performance of the constitutional duty that was granted to the House of Representatives. Ang problema po is the Committee on Justice had extended a leeway for the respondent in this case, kay Vice President Sara Duterte, and to her team to be able to attend and then have the opportunity to cross-examine or examine those resource persons that we invited during the confirmation hearing. Unfortunately, they have consistently failed to attend in the confirmation hearings. That would have been a perfect opportunity for them to cross or at least provide evidence or counter evidence or testimonies, or they can cross also the resource persons that attended during the hearings. It cannot be labeled as such simply because they think na ayaw nilang bigyan pansin or ayaw nilang pansinin or ayaw nilang ilagay sa kanilang consciousness yung karapatan at saka yung jurisdiction ng House of Representatives ng magpatuloy na ganitong para doon sa mga impeachment complaints na inaisabit po at nai-refer po sa committee ng Committee on Justice. So hindi po para sa amin that would be a mislabeling of the fact that the House of Representatives did actually perform its constitutional duty that led to the stage of the Senate sitting as an impeachment court.
Well, dadagdagan ko lang na sinasabi rin pala kasi nila noon na yung investigation is akin to criminal prosecution. Alam po ninyo nung 19 Congress, nung kinandak po ito sa committee ko, Committee on Good Government, ang purpose po nun is in aid of legislation. And because of that, we were able to come up with House Bill, no? Dahil nakita na natin yung nagiging problema. So, naging produkto na ito, ng investigation na to, yung mga proposed House Bill. Kaya wala pong katotohanan na ito ay parang criminal prosecution. Doon naman sa Committee on Justice, that is part of the process sa impeachment. Dahil maliwanag sa ating saligang batas na ang Congress ang may exclusive na mag-i-initiate ng impeachment proceeding. And part dito ay pagre-refer sa Committee on Justice. At yun naman po yung talagang nangyari na proseso. So nasunod lamang yung proseso, step-by-step process sa impeachment proceedings.
Last na lang po on my end kay Attorney Kapunan, hindi nyo po ba nakikitang parang delaying tactic yung nangyari kanina on the part of the defense given that they refuse to have the markings even based on their evidence, yung copy nila ng acknowledgement receipts? I understand. Can you correct na lang po kung if mali yung aking pagkaintindi? Thank you.
Well, first of all, tama naman yung sinabi ng presiding officer Cheese, no, na it is the right, karapatan ng defense, whether to accept stipulation or not, no. Pero ang nangyari dyan, ang hindi na stipulate nila ay 4,492 documents, no, na meron rin silang kopya nun. Kasi yun ang sinubmit nila. Yung mga ano ba yung acknowledgement receipt? Acknowledgement receipt ang nagpapatunay na merong ginastos na pera sa confidential funds. Nakalagay doon sino yung payee, sino yung tumanggap ng pera, magkano yung pera, at saka para saan, saka yung date, signature. Ebidensya nila yun eh. Bakit ayaw nilang pakita? Oo. Plus, sa pre-trial, every document na yan, lahat ng mga acknowledgement receipts, 3 ang pumirmang signature, yung clerk of court, kami sa prosecution, tsaka yung defense. So makikita nyo naman na nakita na nila yan. There is no surprise. These are their documents. But anyway, ang sabi ng defense, hindi naman pareho lahat eh. Well, that is why, kung ganong kadaming documents, talagang aabutin tayo ng Christmas, no? Kanya na lang, magandang ruling ng presiding officer, Cheese, na do it out of court. So, Thursday and Friday, in-schedule yung pag-examine. Nakita niyo naman kanina, no? Sa pag-examine lang ng 845 documents, halos 1 oras na, no? Or almost 1 hour. What more kung 4,492 documents? So, that will happen on Thursday and Friday, where the prosecution, the defense, in front of the clerk of court, will compare documents. So, hopefully, mas mabilis ang testimony of the witness, no?
Dadagdagan ko lang, para mas maunawaan ng mga kababayan natin. Ito yung parang bumili ka ng grocery. Nagpunta ka ng grocery at yung pinag-uusapan ngayon, yung resibo. Yun yung ebidensya na ito yung mga nabili mo sa grocery. So, ganoon din sila. So, binigyan sila ng pondo dahil ito ay pondo ng public fund. Pondo ito ng taong bayan. So, ngayon, hinihingian sila ng resibo. At yun naman yung acknowledgement receipt na mga nagaling din naman sa kanila. Dahil sabi nila, ito yung mga pinaggamitan. O dito nila dinala yung pondo. Ngayon, tinatanggi na nila. Samantalang sa kanila rin galing yung mga acknowledgement receipt na yon. In fact, sinabi pa nga ng ating mahusay na abogado, ni Attorney Kapunan, willing na kami kung ano yung pinamarka ninyong ebidensya, yun na lang, wag na yung pinamarka namin. Kung gusto ninyo, para mas mapadali, kung ano yung pinamarka ninyo na ebidensya, di yun na lang din ang gagamitin namin na ebidensya, pero ayaw rin nila. So, ano ba talaga, kuya?
Ramdam ko yung pag-iyak, ramdam ko yung pighati, ramdam ko yung hinagpis. ng depensa dito po sa pagrereklamo nila. Doon po sa mga binanggit po. Ba't kayo tatawa? Doon po sa mga binanggit po ng depensa, nito pong nagdaan. Pero dalawa lang po yung tanong. Ito po ba ay may pinangalanan? Pangalawa, is it based on the merits? I don't think so. Kasi po yung sub judice rule ang pinag-usapan po dito, talking about the merits of the case. But what was Attorney Ligutan actually talking about? Hindi ba? He was basically stating a principle of law on misleading questions. Hindi ba? So, kung naiyak ho yung depensa, kawawa naman sila. Hindi ba? But it is not within the sub judice rule. So, I think it is out of place. Dapat itabi nung pong presiding officer ito pong pag-iyak ng depensa dito po sa bagay po na ito. But again, we will respect the determination and decision of the Senate Impeachment Court on yung pong mga allowable utterances and statements of the parties. But it is very important to set clear. Mahalaga po sa publiko na maunawaan po yung aktual na detalye nung pong araw-araw, oras-oras, linggo-linggo po na itinatakbo po ng paglilitis pong ito. Wala po sa loob ng paglilitis mismo yung nagbibigay po ng paglilinaw doon po sa bakit mahalaga sa tao yung pong paglilitis. Bakit mahalaga yung piraso ng ebidensya doon ho sa ordinaryong Pilipino. Yung nagbibigay po ng konteksto nito ay yung po man nagsasalita whether prosecutor defense sa labas po ng paglilitis. So, very important po na ma-strike po yung balance dito po sa bagay po na ito. Kasi we do not want a trial that is divorced from the understanding of the public. Very important po na masapul po ng mga kababayan po natin bakit mahalaga yung po usapin ng pananagutan, bakit mahalaga na pag-usapan yung bawat piraso ng ebidensya. Technical naman ito, very document-based man ito, at parang mahirap man itong unawain at the level po of the trial. Kaya yun po yung talagang hihimukin po namin, yung pong Senate Impeachment Court sa susunod pong linggo na strike po yung pong balance sa bagay po na ito. Pangalawa, katulad ng binabanggit na rin po kanina, wala naman masyadong nadurog doon po sa testimonya po ni Ms. Del Campo. Very important po to make the point na una, hindi ho talaga pwedeng ibigay sa mga tao outside of yung pong OVP at DepEd, yung pong paggamit ng confidential funds. And to be clear, the moment that it was transferred to the VPSG, ang VPSG po ay hindi under the OVP, ito po ay hindi rin under the DepEd. The moment that there was a transfer of funds to Mr. Lachica, to Mr. Nolasco, doon po nagsimula yung pong batayan kung bakit kailangan po itong ma-disallow in audit. So yun po yung first point. Yung second point ay yung pong nexus, yung pong relasyon, nung sinasabi ho nila confidential activity to the confidential expense. Kasi, pwede ho natin tama sila. Meron silang ginagawa mga surveillance activities or confidential activities. Mali pa nga sila, sinasabi nila paulit-ulit, intelligence activities Pero hindi ho maipakita yung nexus doon sa, okay, ginamitan namin yan ng confidential funds. Kasi nga, hindi namin makita yung, una, yung totoong tao, pangalawa, yung aktual na mga resibo at pagpapaliwanag kung bakit ho merong koneksyon yung aktibidad at po yung paggastos ng pera. Importante hong makita po yun. And more importantly, and ito ho yung, I think, one important fact na dapat hong mailahad, yung pong VPSG ay may sarili pong pondo mula sa AFP. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga binabanggit po nila doon, yung pong pagtitiyak ng ruta ng pangalawang Pangulo, yung pakikipag-coordinate sa mga komunidad at mga opisina, actual na trabaho po yun ng VPSG as part of the security complement of the Vice President. So, the question therefore is, bakit mo sasalangan ng confidential funds yun? Hindi ba? Kaya nga, very precise po yung COA. Meron pong usapin ng pagbibigay ng pera to purchase information, meron pong usapin ng pagbibigay ng pera for the giving of a reward. Wala tayong debate, sabi po ng COA, doon sa purchase of information. Pero meron pong debate doon sa giving of reward. Kasi kailangan pong maipakita doon yung aktual na detalye nung pong resulta kung bakit tayo nagbibigay ng reward sa isang particular po na tao. So, I think yun po yung, it basically sums up what we had seen today, na the credibility of Ms. Del Campo has not been shaken. It continues. And as we go along with the next set of witnesses, doon ho natin makikita in more particular detail na hindi lang po ito yung mga disallowed in audit. Pag pinag-usapan na ho natin yung NBI report on the similarity of signatures at yung sinasabi nila na ilang tao, ilang grupo lang po, yung pong puno yun doon sa mga acknowledgement receipts, that is when we will see that it is not just those that were disallowed in audit, but the entirety of the pie of confidential funds for OVP and the DepEd. Okay, we are opening for questions.
All right, Ann, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Kong Terry and Attorney Tolosa. Sir, how would you describe today's trial na itinuturing ng ilan na naging feisty kasunod ng naging argumento ni Attorney Kapunan at Attorney Christine Ferrer, kung saan nag-intervene pa nga si presiding officer at nananawagan na itemper ang mga salita amid the generational divide sa dalawa?
Well, una, hindi naman yan uncommon yan dahil nga talaga dun sa nature ng ganitong klase. They are adversarial proceedings, no? Dahil merong ibang magkaiba, no, na pinaglalaban na punto ng dalawang panig. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin niya na nag-aaway talaga. But that's really normal, no? But siguro makita naman natin, no, yung sabi nga ni Attorney Kapunan nung simula, pinipilit niya, no, na maging more patient, no, but nadala na din siguro yung fact na sinabi naman niya, no, dahil nga dun sa naging actions din, no, nung defense, pagdating dun sa for example, yung magmula dun sa pre-trial, they've been adamantly refusing yung request to just compare documents hanggang nagkaroon na nga ng kautusan galing sa presiding officer, no, na hindi pa rin ginawa. So, syempre, those things add up. But at the end of the day, it's really nothing that's out of the ordinary. Nangyayari naman ho talaga yung mga ganong sagutan minsan.
Siguro, bago sa follow-up, no, gusto ko lang linawin yung, syempre, they were complaining really about yung pong exchange, particularly doon sa sagot po ni Attorney Ferrer na relating to misleading questions, hindi ba? But, you know, the transcript is very clear. Hindi lang naman ho kami inside the trial, yung pong nakapanood po nun. Everyone else here, and the public itself, was able to see it, hindi ba? And the transcript is very clear. Never mind if you're on cross. There are limits to cross-examination. Misleading questions are not allowed on cross. That was Attorney Kapunan. And what did Attorney Ferrer say? They are allowed. So, ibig ko po sabihin, wala akong pwedeng sisihin yung pong depensa dito, except yung mga sarili po nila, mga kaibigan. Kasi, kung very sharp to the draw, yung pong defense on the conversation and the tit for tat during the trial itself, Ms. Ferrer would know na hindi ho yun yung dapat niyang sinagot nung pong panahon na yun. But Attorney Season wanted to provide context, then that was the context that she wanted to provide. But again, going back to the transcript itself, the reply of Ms. Ferrer to Attorney Kapunan was, it was allowed, relating to, basically responding to misleading questions. So, everyone was basically understanding na tungkol po doon sa misleading questions po, yung sagot ni Attorney Ferrer. Hindi ba? So, kumbaga, do not gaslight the nation that kasalanan po ni Attorney Ligutan kung bakit ho pumutok sa mukha po ng depensa ito pong bagay na ito. they should have been quick on the draw. They should have clarified that she was answering not the question on misleading statements or misleading questions, but on something else. Dapat ginawa na niya yun noong umpisa pa lang.
Sir, you're not buying the explanation of Attorney Susan dun sa korte kanina.
No, it was the job of Attorney Ferrer to basically clarify what she was actually replying to. Hindi ba? Pwede naman niya sinabi yun eh. Di ba? Ano naman ho siya? Sabi niyo nga, feisty ho yung exchange. No? I think she can hold up to Attorney Kapunan. Hindi ba? But she did not make that clarification there and then. Why did she actually have to wait for Attorney Season to provide the context for the record? Hindi ba? When the exchange was very clear. Hindi po ba?
Alright, any follow-up?
Last po. Sir, reaction lang po sa naging pahayag ni dating Chief Presidential Counsel Attorney Panelo. Sinabi niya na dapat magpahinga na po si Attorney Kapunan following the argument kanina po. Magpahinga na po si Attorney Kapunan. Ano po yung reaction niya?
Actually, si Attorney Panelo yung dapat magpahinga. Hindi ko alam ba't siya nandito araw-araw. More importantly, di ba siya yung nagsabi, I mean, in the first few weeks of the trial, hindi ba? Di ba parang he was basically questioning the trial itself? Hindi ba? So why would you actually listen to him today? Na dapat magpahinga si Attorney Kapunan. Hindi ba? Ang dapat magpahinga si Attorney Panelo. Hindi ba?
Alright, thanks. Let's recognize now, Marian.
Hello. Good afternoon po. Sir, gaano po kabigat, kaseryoso yung lumabas po kanina doon sa pagtatanong po ng Senator Judges na posible or pinag-aaralan na po ng COA na magsagawa ng fraud audit dito nga sa confidential funds, kung paano ginasta itong confidential funds ni VP Sara, lalo na kung titingnan na rin dito yung may criminal intent. Sir, gaano kabigat, kaseryoso ito?
Well, ayaw nating pangunahan kung ano magiging action ng COA dyan. Tulad nung nangyari before na development with respect to grave threats, no? Na sabi nga natin, kahit nasampa na yung kaso na grave threat sa piskalya, separate proceedings yan ang tinutuntun dyan, yung criminal liability. At iba naman dyan, dito sa impeachment proceedings, nang tinitingnan yung fitness to remain in office. No? Pareho din naman yan dyan, dun sa COA, na possible conduct of a fraud audit. But ang mahalaga ay these two matters could proceed independently of each other. No? So, hindi naman nakadepende lang kung anong magiging hakbang na gagawin ng COA, kung ano din yung magiging takbo ng pagdinig dito, kung anong ebidensya na nailatag na namin at tuloy pa rin namin ilalatag.
Sir, how about yung posible po na ma-disallow yung kabuang 612.5 million pesos na confidential funds? Base nga po doon sa pagtatanong ni na Senator Judge Gatchalian, dahil nga raw po doon sa nalaman na ganun yung ginawa, doon sa DepEd, yung confi funds binigay ng SDOs na hindi naman dapat kasi sila yung may mandate doon.
I think that's relevant and maganda din na natanong yon para magkaroon ng kaliwanagan. Bakit iba yung naging treatment dun sa DepEd, use of confidential funds, pati dun sa OVP. Maganda yung tanong kanina na sabi nga, kung pareho pala yan, na umamin yung mga kani-kanyang mga special disbursement officers nila na inutusan sila ng Vice Presidente na ibigay itong pera nito to third persons, dun kanila Colonel Chica Nolasco. Bakit yung dun sa OVP lang, yun lang ang kabuuan ng buong pondo for confidential funds na disallowed, pinayagan sa DepEd. At ang naging sagot ni Zailin kanina ay dahil nung binigay ang pag-amin na yan, na-issue na yung credit notice sa Department of Education. Hindi pa nangyayari yun dun sa OVP, kaya nahabol pa yan. With respect to the 3 quarters of 2023, So, but sabi nga niya, dahil sa ganyang klaseng development, tinitignan din nila, pinag-aaral nila kung tama bang i-reopen ito. Pati, ibig sabihin, pati yung dun sa DepEd.
Gaano po kalakas, kumbaga, para po sa inyo, sa prosecution na puntos, kumbaga, itong mga lumabas ngayong araw?
Well, again, we'll leave that determination to the impeachment court. But ang mahalaga sa amin is napaliwanag ng testigo kung ano ang significance niya. No? I'll again redirect us to the statement of the witness about this. Ang sabi niya, naging cause ito ng issuance of notes of disallowance dahil para sa kanila, naging clear indication na yan ng irregularity. Bakit daw? Because it's direct violation of the prohibition under the joint circular, which is that the SDO cannot transfer this funds to another person. At pinaliwanag niya na mabuti yan. Sinasabi nga niya, bakit yun mahalaga? Dahil itong SDO na to, tinatalaga siya specifically ng head of agency. No? Itong SDO na to is also a bonded officer. So, ibig sabihin, merong security ang government kung mawala niya itong pera na to or hindi magamit ng tama. But as opposed to, kaya nga sabi niya, pwedeng ilipat ito kahit hindi bonded yung tao na yan kung siya na yung final recipient. Pero, so dapat, sabi nga niya, diretso niya itong ibinibigay from the SDO to final recipient, pero hindi pwedeng dumaan yan sa intermediary. So, para sa amin, naging maliwanag yung sa kanyang masagot patungkol sa issue na yan.
Pero bago matapos, ngayong araw po na ito, sinasara po yung Commission on Audit witnesses, no? I have to see kung meron pa hong madadagdag ng mga co-witnesses. Pero everything relating to the notices of disallowance, yung pong detalye kung bakit po tayo umabot dito po sa pagpapasoli ng pong pera mula sa Commission on Audit, sinasara po yun ngayon. At nakita ho natin kay Mr. Wamil at kay Ms. Del Campo, pareho naman yung kwento nila eh. Hindi ho nagbago, malinaw ho yung batayan bakit ho disallowed in audit ito pong mga pagbabayad noong pong rewards para sa pagkain, para po doon sa other various supplies. No? At iba pa hong mga dahilan. So, nakita ho natin yung kabuuan po ng mga detalye. And nakita ho natin yung detalye din mismo ng mga acknowledgement receipts na pinagbatayan, katulad ni Mary Grace Piatos, noong pong pag-disallow in audit, pagpapasoli ng pera sa pangalang Pangulo at kanya pong mga opisyal. Nito pong ganito kalalaking pera, 448 million in total for 2022 and 2023.
All right. Thank you, Marian. Let's hear now from Gab.
Sir, first question po. Yung manifestation ba ni Attorney Sheila Season? Sabi nga ni Attorney Kapunan, she opened the door to this line of questioning. Would it prompt the prosecution now to bring their concerns before the impeachment court? Particularly yung mga concerns regarding yung mga sinabi ni VP Sara Duterte the previous week, yung bending the law daw. Kasi before, sinasabi ng prosecution, hindi na imamanifest eh. Would the prosecution now bring this issue before the court?
Well, that is something that we will most definitely consider. No? Pero again, babalik ko tayo doon sa overarching concern for explaining to the public bakit mahalaga ito pong paglilitis na ito, bakit mahalaga po yung mga detalye at ebidensya ng paglilitis po na ito. At tingin ko naman ho, yung pagbibigay ng konteksto ng mga tagapagsalita na magkabilang panig. At kahit po nung Senate Impeachment Court, ay mahalaga para maunawaan po natin. Ibig sabihin, yung pong mga tagapagsalita hindi nag-i-English eh. Hindi ko gumagamit ng mga teknikalidad para ipaliwanag po yung kaso sa atin pong mga kababayan. No? At yung po tingin ko yung dapat maging mas mahalagang konsiderasyon dito po sa bagay na ito. No? So, again, to reiterate the answer to the question, we will see. But if that is the will of the defense, no? So, syempre, we will have to make a determination also doon sa ilang pa hong mga options and iba pang mga kaso na pinag-uusapan.
Gab, if I could also add something about that issue. I'll recall that this matter was actually brought to the attention of the spokesperson of the impeachment court na mention nga actually sometime in July 14, if I'm not mistaken, the Vice President issued an official statement, no, accusing basically the prosecution of resorting to fabricated evidence, no, and fabricated narratives. And quite recently, as you know, she made remarks. Now, this time, not just against the prosecution, but against the impeachment proceedings itself, to constitute the impeachment court, and ultimately the presiding officer. Dahil sabi nga niya, marred daw by bending the law itong proceedings na to. Question niya yung proceedings before the HOR, pati yung fact na sabi niya, yung dalawang may nakaupo dyan sa rostrum na dyan, definitely pertaining to the presiding officer and the Senate President, no? At ultimately, sinasabi niya, bending the law, parang sinasabi, merong irregularities and unlawful actions being done and tolerated in the proceedings. But ang alam ko, no, nung tinanong ang spokesperson ng impeachment court dyan, no, if it constitutes sub judice rule, ang sabi ay, as we can see, the presiding officer has been exercising liberality with respect to the application of the sub judice rule. Now, we are sure that this liberality will be applied, fairly. So not just with respect to the Vice President herself, but to all of the persons covered by the sub judice rule. No? And but nonetheless, of course, no, may na-mention kanina ang presiding officer na mukhang there could have been some transgressions and we'll be humble enough in case na even despite our best efforts, no, to make sure that our statements, no, would fall under the exemption, but kung meron kaming naging misstep dito, pagkakamali, of course we'll be humble enough to take accountability for that. But just the same, no, we hope that the same liberality will be applied to all of us.
Siguro, before the next question, siguro, a very important point needs to be made. This never happened under Michael Poa actually presenting evidence. Di ba? Wala mo tayong ganitong debate on anger issues, on raising your voice to the prosecution, the presiding officer, and to the witness. That was never a concern when Attorney Poa was actually presenting the evidence. So, ang totoo, everyone is basically just responding to the manner by which people actually act during trial and outside of trial. Hindi ba? So, kumbaga, maybe kailangan natin manalamin ho siguro. Hindi ba? Kung sino ba talaga yung sala dito sa insidente ngayon pong araw na ito. And again, we didn't do the same to Mr. Poa in the last time.
Actually, sir, yun yung sunod kong tanong. Pero siguro, to follow up na lang, tingin nyo ba mas mabigat yung mga sinabi ni VP Sara Duterte outside of the court kumpara doon sa nangyari kanina? Kasi parang mas malapit sa merits of the case yung sinasabi na bending the law over doon sa response kung misleading nga ba yung, pwede nga ba yung mga misleading questions?
Well, ang totoo, hindi po yun just about the merits. It is basically questioning the credibility, the integrity of the court itself. Hindi ba? Tingin ko, mas dapat yun pa nga ho yung pag-usapan natin eh. If that is something that you actually want to talk about, the defense should actually talk to their client. Hindi ba about the statements that she had actually made not against the prosecution but against the integrity of the court itself. Kasi tingin ko kung meron ho dapat ipagpaliwanag, yung pong depensa, yung pong akusado, yung dapat pong pagpaliwanagin. Higit sa kahit sino pa.
Sir, last question na lang. Regarding kasi yung sinabi niyo na dapat si attorney, yung mga defense lawyers ang magpaliwanag o kausapin si VP Sara. Yung nagiging attitude ba ng mga defense lawyers, does it remind you or parang reflects the attitude of the Vice President? Yung binabato sa kanya na parang keen on disinforming and misinforming the public?
Well, hindi rin naman kasi mabait naman si Attorney Poa, hindi ba? So, I think it is really just about, I guess, the manner by which the defense has been conducting themselves on a day-to-day manner. But I'm quite sure may mababatong laptop ngayon pong araw na ito.
Just to add to that, Gabno, I'm sure, 100% sure that none of us have said anything that is as closely, that is anywhere, no, that is even remotely close to how alarming and concerning the statements of the VP, no, have been. Again, these are, we saw the progression in her attacks, from the attacks against the prosecution. Now, it's attack against the integrity of these proceedings itself. That is very, very dangerous. No? Why? Dahil meron tong intention, meron itong possibility or potential, no, na mapaniwala ang mga tao na hindi dapat mapagkatiwalaan itong proceedings na to at kung anumang paghusga na gagawin ng ibibigay, no, ng mga senator judges, lalo na kung ito ay maging hindi paborable sa kanya. This could be brushed aside by people who believe her and rejected by the people, thinking kasi nga marred by irregularities, no, dahil daw napakadami daw bending daw na nangyayari dito. So tama, no, na dapat yung mga bagay na pagtuunan din ng pansin.
All right, thank you. Let's give way now to Ma'am Milky.
Good afternoon, Attorney Tolosa, Kong Terry. Going back to the issue ng demeanor inside the impeachment court, paliwanag ka sa amin, sir, posting sa SOCMED, may pagbabawal ba talaga sa ganitong uri ng expressing your own opinion sa social media? Kasi ito yung naging issue or topic kanina ng paalala ng presiding judge, Senator Chis Escudero.
Normal na bawal dyan is when you attack the integrity of the proceedings in the court, no? Reasonable criticisms are allowed, but baseless attacks against the credibility of the institution itself, of course, it's not allowed. And of course, disrespectful actions and words against the other parties and other councils are unethical and also not allowed, no. But with respect, no, dun sa naging post kanina, no, I think nagkaroon siya ng paalala lang. Ang sinabi lang naman niya doon, dahil alam naman natin, napakadaming nakasubaybay dito sa proceedings na to. No, pati kasama na dyan, no, mga new lawyers or aspiring lawyers, mga law students. No, alam natin, nakikita natin doon sa social media, sinasabi nga nila, sinusubaybayan nila to at madaming silang natututunan dito. So, I guess as a professor, he just wanted to make sure, remind everyone, this is a basic evidentiary rule, no, na cross-exam that misleading questions are never allowed. Direct or cross-examinations never allowed, and it was just a reminder, no. So I think it was not meant to disrespect anyone.
And again, babalik ko tayo doon sa yung factual circumstances po kanina. Ano ba yung sinabi ni Attorney Ligutan? Again, merits po ba yun? Basically talking about details of the case and telling the public to believe a particular position. Meron ba siyang pinangalanan dito po sa kanya pong Facebook post? Parang wala naman ho. Hindi ba? So, kumbaga, ano ho yung iniiyak nila ngayon? Kasi nga, doon naman ho susukatin eh. Kung sub judice po yung sinabi ng particular na member of the prosecution. Hindi ho ba? At kung hindi ho yun papasok doon sa actual na provision on sub judice, particularly discussing about the merits, ano yung magiging batayan ngayon to admonish Attorney Ligutan? Tingin ko wala. So, paano hong mangyayari sa depensa ngayon?
Tingin mo, Attorney Tolosa and Kong Terry, nag-overreact lang ditong depensa? Salamat po.
Well, hindi ho sila nag-overreact. Parang naluha po sila. Nagkaroon ng pighati. Nagkaroon po ng lungkot. Dito po sa inabot po ngayong araw na ito. So, we will not make excuses for them. They have to look at themselves in the mirror as to why it happened today.
Thank you, Ma'am Milky. Haji, your turn.
Magandang hapon po, Haji Kaamenya ng Brigada News FM. Just to follow up on the VP Sara's remarks, sa bigat po nung mga sinabi niya recently, sabi niyo nga po, troubling, hindi po ba, sa palagay po ninyo, dapat po bang, although nabanggit niyo na yung liberality, nabanggit niyo na po yung pagdedesisyonan ng Senate Impeachment Court, pero palagay po ba ninyo, dapat ba sa pagsabihan or dapat bang kausapin, dapat ba may action or hakbang na gawin yung Senate Impeachment Court against the respondent on that matter, dun po sa kanyang mga naging salita?
I think tulad ng sinabi ni Kong Terry kanina, those are one of the things that are currently under deliberation, no, kung ano yung actions na gagawin namin. But in the meantime, we leave it to the sound and judicious discretion of the presiding officer and the impeachment court as a whole.
Yeah, sige pa.
Well, sa bahagi naman po namin, syempre, we take note of the remarks of the Vice President, ano? Pero syempre, binibigay din naman ho namin sa kanya yung kalayaan pong magpahayag ng kanya pong mga pagtingin. Dito po sa bagay na ito, lalo't higit, siya naman po talaga yung nasasakdal po rito. No? So, ibig sabihin, I think ang course of action naman po namin in previous days ay sagutin lang din po ang Pangalawang Pangulo in the same forum that she is speaking to. Hindi ba? So, kung meron tingin naming lagpas at hindi tama, edi sinasagot lang po namin in the same forum. But we will leave it to the Senate Impeachment Court if it is something that they're also concerned of. No? So, tingin ko yun po muna.
Last follow-up na lang po. Dahil po sa mga nabanggit kanina ni presiding judge na nagmo-monitor nga daw po sila sa mga, let's say for example, sa mga interviews po ng mga members ng defense and then the panel of prosecutors, may magbabago po ba personally sa inyo po? Maghihinay-hinay po ba kayo? Or number two, sa palagay po ba ninyo, yung ganitong hakbang ng Senate Impeachment Court on the statements by both camps will affect the impeachment trial?
Well, tingin ko po, syempre magiging maingat din po dapat ang lahat ng mga partido. Pero again, it should not stop anyone, whether the Senate Impeachment Court through its spokesperson, the defense or the prosecution through its spokespersons, no, na gawin po yung kailangan gawin para maglinaw sa bayan doon po sa itinatakbo nito pong paglilitis po na ito. Wala naman ho nagpipigil eh. Doon po sa bawat panig na ilahad po ang kanilang posisyon sa bawat araw, ano yung sa tingin nilang inabot ng takbo nung pong paglilitis. No? Kasi sa dulot-dulo po, hindi ho dapat na nag-uusap lang dito mga kongresista, senador, akusado na mataas na opisyal ng bayan. Kundi, kailangan ho bitbitin ho natin sa kabuuan ng proseso pong ito yung mga ordinaryong Pilipino. At pagka ho, ang naging itsura na ho ay hindi, dapat i-confine nyo lang po sa korte yung pong talakayan, di tatanggalin ho natin yung papel ng taong bayan po rito. Sa dulot-dulo sila yung pinakamahalaga. Hindi ho pwede na, di ba, may debate na nga ho dun sa sinasabi over lawyerly, over judicialization of the impeachment process. Hindi ho ba? Pagka ho nagkaroon ng tunguhin na gawin ho mas mahigpit yung pong pagpapaliwanag sa publiko, tingin ko what will be defeated will be the public interest, nothing else.
Tulad na nga sabi namin kanina, talagang lagi naman ho tayong nag-iingat sa mga statements natin, no, sa mga tugon, sa mga questions ng media, no, para siguraduhin natin hindi natin malabag itong sub judice rule. But of course, dahil sa ganong klaseng remarks, no, ng presiding officer, lalo nating pag-iigihan, no, at para masigurado nating hindi tayo makalabag sa patakaran na yan. But just the same, tulad ng sabi ni Kong Terry, importante din kasi no, yung trabaho na ginagawa natin, which is to make sure that we'll be able to communicate to the public and let them know about what's really happening inside the courtroom, what are the important developments in these proceedings. Lalong-lalo na, we need to combat, kitang-kita naman natin, no, yung serious and widespread disinformation and misinformation campaign. So hindi, of course, no, again, mas mag-iingat tayo, but kailangan nating ituloy, no, yung trabaho natin to reach out to sa mga kababayan natin, no, para mabigyan natin sila ng tama at accurate na information.
Thank you, Haji. Let's now listen to Llanesca.
Good afternoon po. Yung ano lang po, mga ni-raise ng defense kanina on their cross-examination, nag-cite sila ng confidential and surveillance activities. But then again, apparently, they use the confidential fund to reimburse these expenses. Para kasi laging predated eh. Yung ginamit nilang pang-liquidate sa confidential funds, activities na hindi pa nangyayari or activities na hindi pa nila natatanggap yung confidential fund at that time. And also the repeated raising of the point na wala pang notice of finality yung mga disallowances. So do you see these arguments as reasonable defense at this point, given na hindi naman po allowed yung reimbursement sa joint circular? Thank you.
In answering that, no, para safe tayo, again, i-quote ko yung naging sagot ng witness dyan sa tanong na yan, no, dahil maliwanag naman ang kanyang naging paliwanag sa ukol na yan. Sabi nga niya, napakaliwanag kasi dun sa joint circular, hindi pwede ang reimbursement, no, dagi itong cash advance, at nakalagay dyan yung specific period kung saan siya dapat paggagamitan. Kaya nga sinabi niya, kung itong mga paggasta ito, nangyari siya bago yung period na supposedly covered nitong cash advances na to, hindi ho yan allowed under the joint circular. Pangalawa, yung naging question nyo about the finality, no, kung final na o hindi. Siguro alalahanin natin, lahat tong bagay na to, of course, these are evidentiary matters that we are presenting, no, in these impeachment proceedings for the appreciation of the impeachment court, dahil nga hindi naman tayo bound lang dun sa proceedings before the COA, meaning hindi natin kailangan hintayin na matapos muna sila, no, ano yung maging final findings natin dyan, no, dahil these are evidentiary matters, no, para ma-appreciate, dahil nga magkaiba naman itong legal proceedings na to, no? Ang pinag-uusapan ba doon sa COA, kailangan bang ibalik itong mga publikong pondo na to, no, ng Vice Presidente and yung other accountable officers like the SDOs? At ang pinag-uusapan naman kasi dito, again, ay iba. We're talking about the fitness of the Vice President to remain in office.
On my part, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Kung wala na, maybe we can give our spokesperson the last word. Kung anong ma-expect nila this coming week?
Kita na lang po tayo sa Lunes. Masyado na marami ang nangyaring yung araw po na ito para mag-closing statement. Maraming salamat. Magandang araw.
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po.